Hi, my name is Mike and I'm with Practicon, and today I'm going to show you how to properly install the P63 mannequin head on the ADEC simulator. Right now I have with me just the P63 mannequin head, the face mask, and with this type of simulator we have drainage hoses. So I'm going to also install the ADEC drainage hoses that we have for the nozzles. So this nozzle will go onto the face mask and then go on to the drainage nozzles. I also have with me some green Loctite, and the thread locker will help prevent the back of the neck joint to unscrew from this piece right here. So this is where the thread locker is going to go on. So the first task is to insert these nozzles into the back of the face mask. So this face mask already has a hole in it, and just basically you're going to pop it through the hole and until it goes through into this little groove. So the silicone will go right through the groove. Once I have both nozzles in place, I can go ahead and set that aside and go right to the mannequin head. The first thing I'm going to do for the mannequin head is to push on this button and pop up the cranium. So with the cranium in my hand, I'm going to push on the button, pop open the cranium. And there's a couple things I want to show you. On the back of the cranium, this is called the adjustment wheel. It has several holes in the back, and you have a adjustment pin for the wheel. So I need to loosen the wheel, so I'm going to turn it counterclockwise to loosen it. Get it nice and loose. And put the pin back into the hole where it clips right in there. That way, this neck joint, as you see my finger moves it around, is nice and loose. And the reason I want that nice and loose is that it's going to screw onto the neck bar on the ADEC machine. Now what I want to do next is to take off the articulator. There's a black star knob here, and I'm just going to loosen that to remove the articulator. And that way I can put the face mask on the articulator. Now the best way to put the articulator and the face mask together, I like to put it on backwards. So the horseshoe shape of the articulator will go in first under the mask, like so, and then just take your fingers and go all the way around until it slips on, and then the jaw goes down like that inside. So now I have the face mask on the articulator with the drainage hoses ready to go on as soon as I have the head installed. Now that I have the articulator off the head and the ball joint loose, I'm going to start threading it onto the screws off of this neck joint. So for me to do that, I'm going to sit the ball joint onto the screw and start turning it with my fingers. I have my fingers on the ball joint, and I'm going to start turning it until it locks on. Already have it on. And what I want to do is leave some of the threads exposed. So that's where I'm going to put the Loctite on. I'm going to tilt the unit back so I can put a couple of drops of the thread locker on. And it's always good to have a napkin or some paper towels underneath it. That way, if the drops of the thread locker drop down, it'll catch onto that and not onto the actual unit. This is the thread locker that I'm using. It's the green version. This one says Loctite 290. So if in case you want to look for it and order it, that's what you can get. And now I'm going to put a few drops on there. Just grab a couple of the lines right there. Just a few drops, that's all you need. Alright, I've tilted the unit up straight, and now it's time to screw the head all the way down to the very bottom. So what I'm going to do is finger tighten the adjustment wheel, and then take the pin out just a little bit and turn it so it's nice and tight. And I'm going to start turning the head until this ball joint reaches the very bottom of that neck joint. So I'm just screwing it down until it's all the way down. So this is where it kind of use a little physical strength until it gets all the way down, just about there. A few more turns. All right, now like you see right there, I have the ball joint now flush all the way down to the bottom. Now I'm going to take my adjustment pin and put a lot of tension on the wheel and get it really nice and tight. One more turn. Now that I got it nice and tight, put the pin back. Now I'm going to turn it as hard as I can, because the reason is I'm putting tension on that ball joint, and for this thread locker to get really nice and tight and sealed, I'm going to turn the head to the right all the way as far as I can, and that way I'm putting more tension onto that screw on the neck joint and letting that thread locker do its job. So now that I've turned it, I'm going to release the tension on the adjustment wheel and get it nice and loose, where the head will be really loose. Get in there. Alright, now that I have my wheels nice and loose and the head's loose. Now the reason I want the head loose is I don't want that ball joint to loosen itself as well. I want the thread locker to cure. So now that I have my adjustment wheel nice and loose and the head's nice and loose, I can go ahead and install the articulator with the face mask and put that back in there. That's going to be next. So now that I have my face mask and articulator together with the drainage hoses, it's nice and simple. Tilt the unit back a little bit with the pins right there, and with the holes. The pins will go into the holes, and that's where the screw is for the star knob. So put that right in there. Now just taking the star knob, tighten it down, nice and good. Now that's on. Now the head's still loose. I'm going to attach the drainage hoses to the drainage nozzles, like so. That's on. And now same for the other side. That's on. And push the hose in. Now I can go ahead and use my fingers and finger tighten the adjustment wheel, so it's a little bit firm on the head right there, so the head's not flopping around. And I'm going to push in the pin on the side of the, push the head down. Now that I have the head properly installed, I have the thread locker on, this head needs to sit for at least about 24 to 48 hours for the thread locker to cure. That way the head doesn't come loose. After that, the students can have proper use to this.